He didn't even have a job.
Actually, none of this would be possible without his initial investment 6 years ago.
My wife's family had always treated me like I'd married above my league. They saw my quiet life, my love for gardening, and my work-from-home setup, and they just assumed I was a freeloader. But nothing stung quite like my sister-in-law Emma's words at her rehearsal dinner. I was quietly working my way through an overpriced Caesar salad when her champagne-soaked voice cut across the table. Unlike some people here who don't even have jobs, the room fell silent. Her coworkers, all smug in their designer watches, froze mid-chew. My mother-in-law suddenly found her wineglass fascinating. My father-in-law coughed into his napkin. My wife, Sarah, squeezed my hand under the table, a silent plea not to turn the place into a battlefield. They all thought I was unemployed. They mistook my privacy for poverty, my silence for failure. Emma, in her tipsy arrogance, had just said out loud what they all whispered behind polite smiles. So I didn't react, I just smiled, my voice bland. You're absolutely right. Emma, I don't have a traditional job. Her coworkers let out that uncomfortable laugh people use when they sense danger, but dawned to understand it. Emma beamed. She thought she'd won. What she didn't know was that while she was busy collecting long work hours like trophies, I was quietly building a life she couldn't even dream of. My investments, my consulting gigs, my early buy-ins to tech firms including hers were deliberate choices, not failures I stumbled into. She had no idea that half of her fancy company's early survival had been bankrolled from my home study, while I was probably wearing cargo shorts and a t-shirt. It's funny, people really show you who they are when they think you're beneath them. The drive home with Sarah was heavy with silence. She kept glancing over, worried I was about to explode. But I wasn't angry, I was crystal clear. Someone had just handed me the perfect opportunity to reveal truths I'd never cared to share before. Back in my study, surrounded by old books and the quiet weight of my work, I stared at a framed photo on my wall. It was from 6 years ago, when a company called Nexus Capital was just 3 guys fueled by stale coffee and blind ambition. I'd taken a risky chance on them, a chance that ended up paying out in multiples Emma couldn't calculate on her best day. She didn't know that when she started at Nexus, her paycheck was indirectly coming from the very person she'd just humiliated. I pulled out a leather notebook and wrote down her exact words. Not for revenge, for clarity. Because tomorrow was her wedding day. And I had just decided it would also be the day of her education. The next morning I visited Armando, my tailor. He crafted a charcoal wool suit that felt like quiet power. Then I went to the bank to pick up the wedding gift, a certified check for $40,000. I'd ordered it before the dinner, before her insult. Sarah's sister deserved a strong start with her husband, Ryan, no matter how unbearable she could be. When Sarah and I stepped out of the chauffeured car at the venue, heads turned. Not because of flash or money, but because I carried myself differently, like someone who had absolutely nothing to prove. The ceremony was lovely. I said nothing to spoil it. Weddings deserve peace. But at the reception I saw Emma drifting toward her boss, a man named Kevin, ready to perform her little social dominance trick again. She was radiant, flushed from champagne, thrilled to be the center of attention. As she reached Kevin's circle of executives, she waved me over. "Kevin," she chirped loudly, "meet my brother-in-law David, the unemployed guy I told you about." The room seemed to inhale all at once. Even the string quartet faltered. Her coworkers froze. Her parents looked like they'd seen a ghost. Kevin studied me for a moment. Then, slowly, recognition dawned on his face. He laughed, not a mocking laugh, but a warm, genuine one. "Well, I'll be damned. David Mitchell." He shook my hand with real respect. "How long has it been?" Emma blinked rapidly. You know him?" Kevin's voice grew louder, intentionally including the whole circle of guests. "Emma, this man wrote the bridge financing that kept Nexus alive in year 1. Without him, there would be no Nexus Capital. The entire conservatory went dead silent." Emma paled so quickly she almost matched her wedding dress. Kevin continued, his tone turning sharp. "And you introduced him as what? An unemployed loser?" Emma stumbled over her words. I didn't know. He never said he gardens, he doesn't go to an office. That's when Lisa from HR stepped in, her expression like a razor. So your professional judgment is based entirely on whether someone works in a cubicle. Elena, a board member with a reputation fierce enough to terrify CEOs, added, "That's not just unprofessional, that's dangerous thinking." Kevin didn't have to yell. His voice was even, but it cut through the room. "Emma," he said, "you're fired." She gasped, swaying on her heels. "Kevin, this is my wedding, and I'm making this decision now," he said, "because I need every person representing. Next is to show respect at all times, not only when it benefits them." I stepped forward and handed her the envelope. "This was always your wedding gift," I said gently. "It still is." Her hands shook as she opened it. When she saw the number, her breath caught. "Why, after everything I said?" "Because family doesn't stop being family when they make mistakes," I said. "This gift was for you and Ryan. Nothing you said changed that." Sarah spoke softly beside me. "He ordered it yesterday morning long before dinner." Emma just crumpled, tears spilling freely. "I didn't deserve this." "Maybe not," I replied. "But Ryan does? And some lessons come with mercy attached." Lisa stepped in professionally. "Emma would get paid leave, health coverage, and a chance to reapply in 6 months, but only if she completed empathy and leadership coaching and volunteered 40 hours helping unemployed individuals find work. Real work, not some social media-worthy charity event." Months passed. Emma did everything that was required of her quietly and sincerely, no bragging, no rich girl gloss. She helped people rebuild their resumes. She learned the difference between being unemployed and being a failure. She apologized to me not to save face, but because she finally understood. Eventually, Kevin asked for my opinion on rehiring her. "People can grow," I said simply. "If she has, give her the chance." And they did. At a recent family dinner, Emma told me she finally understood something. "You don't judge people by what you think they are," she said. "You judge them by what you failed to see." I smiled and lifted my glass. "Just remember, Emma's stepping stones belong in gardens, not on people's backs." She nodded, her eyes soft. And this time, for the first time, she truly saw me. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more. See you next time.